Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Delusional Daydreams podcast. I am your host, Ari Lou. It's been a couple days since I have recorded anything, to be honest with you. I gave myself a couple days off just because I felt like I needed to process some things in silence on my own and really be able to come back on here with some new clarity, with something to actually say, because I felt like if I would have just gotten the camera out just because my ego's telling me I need to record something, I was just going in circles and saying the same thing over and over and over again. So I really just needed to take some time to live my life, process some things, and move some energy in my physical world. And it was actually like super sunny the last couple days. It really felt like summer, which here in the Pacific Northwest, the winters here are brutal. And not in the sense that it gets really cold and there's a lot of snow. No. It's brutal because you literally don't see the sunshine for like 5 to 6 months. It's just gray and cloudy and gloomy. So getting some real sunshine mixed with some warmth, wow, that was rejuvenating. So Bandit and I, on one of our days off, we drove out to this really epic hiking area near where I live. It's fucking beautiful. I remember when I was driving home from Colorado after the breakup initially, I remember driving through this area and thinking to myself, damn, why did I feel like I needed to leave my hometown to find this kind of beauty out in nature when it's literally in my backyard where I grew up? But sometimes I do think that when you're in your hometown and you've never left, you take a lot of things for granted, especially like when you live somewhere. I feel like you don't necessarily go out and do the touristy things or things that when people travel to your area would go out and do, because you're in your own little bubble and your routine and you don't want to be a tourist and you don't want to be around all the people. Like, you just don't go and do those things. So since I left and came back, I'm just so excited to spend the summer exploring my hometown and doing the things that I took for granted my entire life. That being going outside into nature. So Bandit and I packed up the car, got my backpack all set up, and it took like an hour to drive out there. But seriously, when I was driving in my car with Bandit in the back, I had all of my hiking stuff in my passenger seat. I had my music playing on full blast. I had the windows down. I felt so alive. I felt so much freedom for the first time in a really, really long time. Because you guys, I have not owned a vehicle in 6 years. This is the first vehicle that I've owned in 6 years. So to be able to drive myself with my dog, with my own music playing, taking myself to a place that I want to go without like feeling like I need to entertain anybody or talk to anybody, like I can just be in my own energy. Holy frickin' moly. That was the most freeing feeling I've really ever felt. It was pure magic. And then just driving out there, once we got past the hustle and bustle of the city and the people, and we were truly just driving out in nature, there were just tears in my eyes. And they weren't like sad tears, but it was just like this overwhelm of profound beauty. Driving out into this natural world just being surrounded by mountains and rivers and waterfalls and trees and just feeling my sense of freedom. It was profound. That's the word that's coming to me. It was absolutely profound. Crying the entire time, but crying just like all the emotions all at once. And then when we were hiking, it was the first true solo hike I've ever been on. Like a hike where you're out in nature. The hike that we went on actually took us along the PCT trail, the Pacific Crest Trail. And if you know anything about that trail, that's the trail that goes from Mexico to Canada. So it's a long ass hiking trail. Obviously, we didn't do the full thing because that takes literal months. But we did do a couple miles of it. And just being literally out in nature, out in the mountains, just me and Bandit, I couldn't stop crying. Every moment, every turn that I took, seeing this hidden little pond, I had to stop and just sit and stare. Or when I made a turn and I saw this new view of mountains, I literally had to stop and just sit. Like I brought my journal to do some journaling, but it was so hard for me to sit and journal because all I wanted to do was just sit and be. I didn't want to listen to music. I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to sit and just like feel the immense connection to the natural world around me. And it was crazy because that whole hike, it's like for so long I was dreaming and craving having this independence and being able to do something like this on my own and do it regularly and have the confidence and the skills to keep myself safe and navigate this and feel comfortable being in my own solitude with my dog. That's truly something I've always been craving to be able to do on my own and for myself. But when I was out there, the whole time, I just kept thinking to myself, wow, this would be so amazing to share with someone else. This moment is too good to just experience it for myself. That feels selfish. And it brought back this immense nostalgia. True nostalgia, specifically for the summer that really was the catalyst for it all. The summer that truly felt like I was stepping into myself, and that was the summer that I went out to Yellowstone National Park for my first true seasonal gig. And I had a whole summer living in the middle of bumfuck nowhere Yellowstone National Park. No cell phone service, hardly any Wi-Fi. I didn't have a car either, so I relied heavily on other people to drive me around. The closest Walmart was 3 hours away. If you needed to buy anything, you had to commit an entire day to driving out to Bozeman, Montana and back. Like literally out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And before I went to Yellowstone, I didn't even own a pair of hiking shoes. I didn't own a backpack to do something like that. Like I had to buy all this gear to be able to go and do that. I'd never been on like a real hike before, willingly, So that whole summer going out and just roughing it in terms of like, I didn't wear makeup. Showers were few and far between. My hair was dreaded. I constantly had dirt under my fingernails. The guy I was seeing that I met at Yellowstone at the time, we did 20,000 miles worth of road tripping that summer and driving and exploring and car camping, stargazing, campfires, fish fries, like, oh my effing God. And just, that was the first summer that I really got back into reading. I got into journaling. I got into hammocking and just being, because when you're not working, when you're not hiking and you're sitting around your dorms, you don't have cell phone service, you don't have Wi-Fi. So what do you do? What do you do to fill your time? You start to learn how to be human again. And that was the summer, the catalyst for me really stepping into what it is that I enjoy, what makes me feel whole inside, and what just makes me feel like a kid again. And while I was out on this hike this last weekend, I just had this extreme nostalgia for that summer. And not only all the things that I listed as far as like exploring, stargazing, car camping, journaling, hammocking, but the true center around all of those memories was connection. Connecting to the natural world around me while connecting to the humanity around me. It was like a yin and yang. It was like they came together like this. And it just made me think of all the amazing times that I had with people and how much fun it was to just connect with people. And I would go on road trips with fucking strangers and have the best day going out into nature, puddling around in a pond or a river, or backpacking, hiking, just doing shit, being around people and just connecting and not having the distraction of the outside world, like just being, playing. And it just made me, just this weekend made me so nostalgic about those kinds of connections in my life and living a life that's centered around experiences like that. And while I was feeling this sense of nostalgia for connection in that summer, even though in a weird way I felt so alone being out there in nature's solitude, anytime I looked up at a tree, or I saw bugs on the ground, or I heard birds off in the distance, I didn't feel lonely. Even though I was alone, I didn't feel lonely. I felt completely surrounded by life. Conscious life. It felt like I was a part of the grand scheme of the natural world. Like I fit right in. Like I could talk to the trees and they were listening to me. And I could almost hear them through insight. I was getting communication through them. It just felt like I was connecting so much to the natural world around me as conscious beings. And it was just so profound. The whole weekend was so profound. And then I had to go back to work yesterday. Yesterday was my Monday. That was the hardest shit ever. Having to go work inside start my Monday off with a double, go work inside and serve people, just do laps and bus tables. And I was just like, God damn, this sucks. I mean, like, obviously I'm doing it. And it's like the work itself sucks. But yesterday at work, even though the work sucked, the people that I work with are fucking dope. Like, there was such a vibe yesterday. And it was just so awesome to be able to connect with humans and just kind of play around and talk. And it just feels like we're becoming a little family, or I feel like I'm becoming a part of this family that's been around for a while. And it just, the sense of community is really cool to feel again. So yeah, that's been my last couple of days. And as far as all of the relationship stuff and with my ex and finding out what I found out with him moving on so quickly and just feeling really betrayed and deceived. It's like it seriously every day takes every ounce of strength within me to not reach out, and not even in a confrontational way, just like reaching out to talk, especially after the weekend that I had. Like, all I wanted to do was hit him up and talk about my insights and talk about my experiences with Bandit and update him on how we're doing. And I just had that nostalgia for him, with him, and the emotional connection we still have. I definitely believe there's like this telepathic spiritual connection, even though it's long distance. Like, I still feel him, and it takes every ounce of strength within me not to reach out. But the reason I'm not reaching out and doing everything in my power to maintain present in what is in my present moment and not go backwards is because I'm really trying to be discerning about where my energy is going right now. Because for the first time in my life, I just really am understanding my self-worth. Like, when I look in the mirror and I see myself, I feel so confident as fuck. I don't have to have makeup on. I don't have to have my hair done. Just like my energy, what I bring to the table as an individual in platonic relationships, in family relationships, in love relationships, in coworker relationships. I just am really starting to see the value in the worth and the impact that I make in the lives of those that are lucky enough to cross paths with me, I think is the right way to say it. I truly am starting to see the impact I make in people's lives. Even if it's subtle, it's just natural. It's something that I emanate, and it's really cool to be seeing that within myself for the first time and feeling so confident in embracing that, because it truly is an energetic thing, not necessarily a physical thing. So understanding just what my worth is and how much value I bring to the table in this world, it's really forcing me to get crystal clear on my boundaries and what I will and will not tolerate, and what is worth expending my energy into. And something I'm really coming to reflect and gain clarity on is, over the last couple of years in our relationship, I was itching to grow. I was itching to progress. I was itching to make changes within my own life, like gaining my independence, getting sober, progressing further into my inner wisdom, inner knowledge, and spirituality, expressing myself through artwork, creative pursuits, creative projects, becoming an entrepreneur. There's a lot of things that I was itching to move into. And when I was in a partnership, I was expecting my partner to want to move with me. And I think something I'm learning about divine feminine and divine masculine energy is, when you're stepping into a divine feminine, you're surrendering into your divine feminine. And to do that, the feminine needs to set boundaries for herself and where she's expending energy. And it's up to the masculine to initiate and meet said boundaries. But if the masculine is not willing or ready to initiate and make moves or heal themselves, it is not my job as the feminine to force change on anybody, because that's manipulation. What my job is to stand strong within my boundaries and learn when to walk away and retract my energy when boundaries are not being met. Because by doing that, by walking away, by retracting energy from those who are not willing to meet you where you've clearly stated your boundaries and where you're trying to go, you are then creating space to magnetize those who are willing to meet you where you're at, and magnetize the things, places, experiences, opportunities that are at your level of how you're maneuvering within your self-worth. And by you retracting your energy, standing strong in your boundaries, looking ahead, not looking backwards, it's their loss, not yours. And people will not realize the true value of your energy and your being and the impact that you've made on their lives until you're gone, until it's too late, until things start to fall apart when you're not there. And that, you leaving, you being gone, you not turning back and accepting less than what you've stated your boundaries are because you know what you deserve and you know what your worth is, that is the catalyst for change in other people's lives. Specifically, I'm more talking about the feminine and the masculine, because I feel like I'm going through this huge surrendering into my feminine energy right now. Granted, I do have to step up in a lot of areas in my own masculine energy to take care of myself and initiate action within my own life. But what I'm not doing is I'm not initiating action towards masculine. Fuck that. I'm here to respond to initiation being made towards me. I'm not here to initiate, except initiate movement within my own life, which is putting energy back into me, putting energy into my creative pursuits, into my independence, into my job, into making money, into experiencing the things I want to do, like going outside and hiking with my dog. So I've really been having this like huge, just like surrendering and stepping into my divine feminine and realizing that I can't change anybody. It's not my job to, and I'm not here to manipulate anybody. I can only lead by example. And I'm only willing to expend my energy on those that are willing to meet me where I'm at and put in the work and put in the effort within themselves. Right? Like, I can't force that healing on anybody. I can't force that change on anybody. All I can do is inspire that. But it's solely up to individuals to go and initiate their own journey. So that's been like a huge lesson of me, not looking backwards, keep being a forward motion, stepping into grace for all the situations, because all of this has been so karmic, and looking at my own self and my own past selves in the mirror and accepting myself, but also realizing where I'm at right now, what my worth is, and expending my energy based off of what I'm worth and what my value is. So that's where I'm at right now. And I know that all of this work someday, this true inner healing work, is going to come back to me tenfold. And the craziest part is I'm already starting to see little ripples of that in my physical 3D. I don't know if you guys remember, but the first episode of the revamp of this podcast, I had mentioned that the catalyst of inspiration to get back into recording was I had someone reach out to me from a bigger media company. And now I feel like I can talk about it because the article is posted. I had an editor from Cosmopolitan magazine. That's right, Cosmopolitan reached out to me wanting to interview me for an article that they were writing on stay-at-home girlfriends, what happens after the breakup and all this stuff, which that is my life. That is my story. And yeah, it was pretty mind-blowing. I had been sitting on this news by myself for months because I didn't want to ruin a good thing. I didn't want to speak on it too soon. I didn't want to tell I have not told literally anybody until the article came out because I didn't want to ruin a good thing, because what if the article didn't get published? What if nothing happened with it? So I really celebrated and held it in within myself. But how fucking crazy that me, someone who doesn't have seemingly any followers, any listeners, attracted the editor of Cosmopolitan magazine to want to interview me on a Zoom call for an hour to talk about my life story and put me in a long ass article that is now live on cosmopolitan.com. Link is in my bio. I'm very stoked about it. It's very honest. It's very real. But getting that really was a catalyst for me to keep pushing, because it made me realize, like, I really do have a story. Like, for so long I was like, what is my story? What is my impact? And I realized, like, a lot of it is, you know, me healing my codependency, me stepping into my independence, me facing my fears, learning to let go of what is no longer serving me, having faith in the universe and in myself that everything is going to work out no matter what your external may look like, that you are capable of bigger things than what is currently surrounding you. So it's just been this whole transformative catalyst of inspiration about who I am, what I'm meant to impact, and getting back into this podcast. So yeah, that's pretty fucking exciting, because now I can say, as seen in Cosmopolitan. What? Freaking check that off the bucket list. Didn't think I'd ever hit a milestone like that, ever. What? So yeah, that was kind of the big news and the big inspiration. And honestly, you know, there's so many articles being posted nowadays. I'm not expecting that to necessarily enhance anything or publicize my name too much. But for me, it just feels like to me, it's such a milestone to be recognized by such a big name. That's huge for me. Like, I don't know how many people are actually going to read this article, but for me, it just feels huge. And even if this article doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't get my name further out there, it was a catalyst for me starting this back up and for me finding more purpose and more inspiration, and everything happens for a reason. And I truly am starting to, like, reflect on so many things in my life, so many past experiences. I truly have magnetized some of the wildest experiences, like movie magic moments, like shit that you would only dream up in movies. I have experienced a lot of moments like that, a lot of networking opportunities like that, like shit that people would only dream of. Seriously, no joke. I honestly don't know how, but I have magnetized some crazy shit into my life. And because I've had these moments happen, I have 100,000% faith that by me just doing me and I keep putting this energy back into me, I'm going to magnetize way more opportunities and things that I can't even comprehend and imagine for myself, and things that I don't even believe are necessarily like I'm capable of achieving, right? Like know, I know now that my name is circulating in rooms that I physically have not been in yet. I had that message sent to me when the editor came out to me. Like before that, like a month before, I kept getting these messages like, you never know who's watching. Someone's watching. Your name is being, talked about in places that you can't even dream of. And I was just like, whatever. And then that happened. And I've been getting these messages again. Something about big opportunity, something in your career, your name is being mentioned. And now I fucking believe it 100,000% because the energy that I put back into myself, like I know I am clearing space and magnetizing a huge ass opportunity, something that I have been manifesting within my physical reality for years and years and years. And everything has happened the way it has happened for something big to come in. And at this point, I'm ready. I'm stating it clear, crystal clear. I am so ready. I'm ready for this new beginning. I'm ready for this new chapter. I'm ready to take on new challenges, new perspectives, new impact. I'm ready to be invested in. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to be heard. I'm ready to be understood and misunderstood. I'm ready to inspire. I'm ready to lead into this new age of life, this new era that we're stepping into, whatever that may look like. So I'm just putting that into the universe now. I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready. And I have 100% faith that all of this is working in my favor. And even though all of this has been so fucking hard, truly, and it's more like on an energetic level, like all of this transformation over the last 5.5 months has been so difficult. So fucking difficult. But I know it's all going to be worth it. I can already feel such a difference in myself, in my energy, in my physical surroundings. Right? Like, I've got a job with benefits. I've got a car that's almost paid off. My credit card debt is paid off. I've got a bank account with my own money in it. I've got a roof over my head. I've got food in the fridge. My body is healthy. I just did all my doctor's visits and labs. My teeth are cleaned. I just did all my dentistry work. Bandit is all caught up on his vet stuff. And I did this. What? That is just so fucking cool. Like, I did this on my own. Granted, I've had support from my family. No doubt, right? Like, I'm living at my parents' house. But I did this. I made this happen for myself. And I'm almost 6 months sober from nicotine and marijuana. I'm 7 months sober from alcohol. So, like, holy shit. I am doing the fucking thing. That is so wicked. So I just think, like, in almost 6 months, I've made it this far. Imagine, like, and I've just been putting energy into me and my journey in this transformation, and I already feel so good. I feel such a difference, and this is truly, the buds are coming up from the ground, and we're about to blossom into this new season, and it's all aligning with the spring season as well. It's just, it's profound. That's like my new favorite word, profound. All of this is profound. Overwhelming, to say the least, in so many aspects, so many emotions, so many energies, from up here to down here. Lots of transmutation, but transmutation into forward progress. And I'm going to be the first one to gas myself up, lay the horn for myself, because no one's going to do it for me. I got to be my own biggest fan, my own number one support system. I'm so proud of myself. And it just feels so good to say that out loud. And not coming from like an egotistical place. Like, I'm not above anybody, but I'm also realizing I'm not below anybody either. Right? We're all here to guide and inspire each other in one way or another. And our specific journey and our specific lessons are the blueprint for what we're here to guide and mentor and inspire in others. So like everyone that surrounds me is impacting me in some way, just like I'm impacting them. We're all on this level playing field. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I'm just so fucking proud. It feels good. Feels good to say that. Feels good to embrace that. And it's just such a confidence boost. Holy shit. Okay. Well, damn, that's a longer episode. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, month, year. Until next time, Ari Lou signing out. Peace punch, Captain Crunches.